across my chest here in a position we refer to as like the Z guard. We refer to this as Z guard. Don't ask me why. I guess that's supposed to resemble a Z or something. I didn't make it up. Anyway, once we're in this position here, Andy's using this knee to brace me off of his chest. So in a normal half guard position, he kind of has to bear my weight, and he's using this now to push against me. No matter whether I'm twice his size, if I put all my weight forward, so long as his bone has good density, I'm not going to be able to get there to him. So this is bracing me away. So what I'm going to need to do from here, if I want to attack Andy's foot, is I'm going to need to get to his foot. But in order to get to his foot, I don't want to have to turn totally away because now I have no weight on it. So here's the way I'm going to go about it. I'm here. I'm going to take my right hand. I'm going to cup it underneath his heel. At the same time, I'm going to pull his heel towards the center of my chest, and I'm going to reach over with my left arm. Here. So my weight doesn't shift away from Andy. I don't want my weight sitting on my heels or sitting off to this leg. I want my weight to be where it is. Still a lot of heaviness here, but it's grab the heel, I pull it towards my chest, and I can. So my weight is still forward into him, but I've captured his foot directly at my chest with this kind of karate chop kind of motion. So I'm here. Pull, capture. At which point I'm going to take my right hand, I'm going to get a grip on his toes, like so. So I want my pinky finger to grab where his pinky toe is. I don't want to be grabbing his foot. I'm going to grab it over his toes. I should actually be covering his two little toes. And I can use my thumb for this grip if I want. My other hand that's already scooped underneath is going to grab onto my own wrist here. So, pull this in, chop. My weight is still driving forward into him. I lock, and I lock on here too. Now, I keep this tight to my chest, and I'm going to do this really, really easy with Andy, and there's a lot of cool variations we can work with, but I'm going to pull this. First things first, I'm going to wind it tight. So I want to be getting this kind of a tightness. Stretching his foot out. His foot kind of gets stretched out. So it makes it uncomfortable. I've got to get that tightness in the beginning. Now I'm going to lift it up towards my chest, and I'm going to rotate his big toe towards his elbow on that same side. So this is his left big toe. I'm going to bring it to his left elbow. And I get my submission.
My toe doesn't touch my elbow.
It's really hard to make it actually happen. Unless he's very, very flexible, it's not going to go down. But you're going to put a lot of strain on this particular drum. We're doing it very lightly and easily to each other, but it's a very effective leg lock because you're taking your entire upper body and you're focusing on one ligament, the anterior talofibular ligament right here, the same one you sprain when you roll your ankle playing basketball. Anybody ever do that? Soccer happens all the time, right? Super common. Jiu-jitsu. Yeah, jiu-jitsu you can force it. So as I'm here with Andy again, I'm on top. He's got that knee across. He's bracing me, keeping me away. I take advantage of what I can. I grab that heel, pull it towards my chest as my other arm comes over. Now I capture his toes, folding them down while this thing is still breaking. I capture this ankle of his. A couple of important details that really make this work. As I come through, I'm pulling this in, I'm bringing this over, I'm locking this up. I want as much fold on this foot as possible as soon as my hands touch each other. So I don't want to just go, okay, 1, 2, got it, I'm in a toe hold position. There's a real big difference, and you guys, it's even harder to see for you, it's much easier to feel for him. The difference between this, which is where I am now, and being a little bit tighter. A little bit of wrist muscle, and for you guys it's like, same thing. But for him it's the difference of, there's no way that would ever submit me, and holy jeez, I'm about to tap already. So there's a really, really big difference in snugness. So as I get here, before I lock wrist to wrist, I make sure this banana bend happens. Now I lock, and I roll my wrist and pull him into me. So this banana bend has to happen first. If you're ever up against somebody bigger and stronger, you can't hope to be able to overpower their leg with your arms. Because Because the fact of the matter is, as I'm here, Colocone's counter is going to be to stomp his leg. So if I'm here and I'm going for this move and he kicks his leg straight out, I can't finish it anymore. There's other things I could go into, but he stomps and he's free of it, generally speaking. However, if I'm here and I have a weak grip on it, he can stomp it. But if I have his toes folded, and I lock. Now, if he stops, he's going to be
break my leg for me.
So I always like to think about jiu-jitsu in terms of what would work against anybody. Not what would work against a guy who maybe doesn't know leg locks and is smaller than you or your own size, but what would work no matter how athletic, no matter how big, no matter how strong. So I want to use as many little factors as possible. I'm here, holding, lock, I pull everything into my chest. Now, I use the analogy of a ship wheel, and Nate uses this one because I use it, but I pull my elbow on this side up and in, so I bring his heel towards me, and then I fold his toes under towards his own elbow. So it's important I don't shot put his leg like this, because that's not really creating any more pressure. It's bringing his heel up towards me and pulling that toe down at the same time. That's what really gets the pressure. So two things we're going to focus on now, as I get my setup, are going to be, I switch over, I get that bend before I lock. Now he's already on the verge of tapping, at which point I need to focus on the ship wheel. The heel comes in as the toes come under, and at the same time, this whole circular motion is moving in the direction of his elbow. So heel up, toes under, and I move it towards him. Boom, tap. All right, you might even feel it in the knee a little bit, but we're going to be nice and easy on this one. So, thank you very much, Colin. Good stuff. Other than that, guys, keep the groups the same. Add in those little details. This hand locked on, donezo. So, just wrist motion. So I want to try to simplify it again, talking about using the kind of toe hold, the kind of submission that you can use on anybody, no matter how big and strong. Focus on those little details. Because using the body, I mean, you know, we can wind up your whole body to everything, but if you can get the tap with just your hands, guarantee it's going to work if you integrate everything else, okay? So let's just add in that one little nuance, 1, 2, 3. Work with the dynamic of the toe hold in a very sort of controlled context. His foot's right here, it's very easy to work through it. But realistically, if I'm going to hit a toe hold in a tournament or something, if I have Nathan here, if I'm going to hit this in real time, as I pull this across and I scoop under, if I'm going to hit this in real time, I'm really going to have to control his legs a little bit more. Normally, it's going to be hard to finish just from sitting like this, because as I try to go, Nate's going to roll. Yeah, he's going to roll like crazy because he doesn't like getting leg locked very much. No, he's not a big fan of getting tapped. So, there's two different variations of how to finish the toe hold from this position. There's two different variations of how to control his opposite leg and make sure you can get your finish. There's a rolling variation, which is like a cool guy variation, and there's a kind of a lean back variation, which is a little bit simpler and more controlled. Which one do you guys want to see?
Go for control first and then cool guy.
We may not have time for cool guy one. If somebody catches me after live rolling tonight, we might touch on it. This is the one Kyotera showed me. Here, 1, 2. I'm here. Again, just very fundamental application of this technique. I'm going to now take my right foot and I'm going to wheel it so it comes underneath knee. You guys see where my foot is now? Here, I wheel it so it's underneath knee. Now I'm going to tip back, keeping his foot to my chest, and I clamp onto his leg with both my legs. So right now he can't move very well. I'm here. I'm going to bring his big toes to his elbows, we talked about.
You could probably move it on the tap.
He can move just enough to tap. That's all I really need him to do. So as I'm here, I come 1, 2. Again, I keep my weight into him. I'm not out here trying to do a toe hold, because if I have no weight on him, he's probably going to kick that leg. He's going to come up and sweep me. He's going to take initiative. So I need to make sure I'm limiting what this leg can do. But I lock onto it. Now my foot swings under. Tip back, leaning my weight onto his knee, keeping his foot into my chest. Lock onto that leg. Boom. Get my finish. Really, really simple and controlled way to go about finishing this toe hold. I learned that in a private lesson with Kyotera, like multi-time black belt world champion. And I was like, can you just show me a couple leg lock things? And he was like, okay. Let's say, for whatever reason, in this particular case, I step back for a knee bar. So I'm not going to go into knee bars. I'm not going to talk about finishing knee bars in any complicated sense, but I'm just going to talk about the positioning. If I'm here and I get past this leg of Johnny's and he gets an underhook on me, I'm going to post my hand on the mat and back step so I'm sitting perched on his hip. Very easy way for me to set up a knee bar where, if I could, I would rock back, be locked on, extend with my hips, and get my finish. Some of you guys were here, I believe it was on.